For your information, Potter, asphodel and wormwood make a sleeping potion so powerful it is known as the draught of the living dead. A bezoar is a stone taken from the stomach of a goat, and it will save you from most poisons. As for
What's up, you guys? It's Brandon Camilo back with another chill drawing session. Today, I've been tasked with drawing a potion bottle or vial, whichever you want to call it, for a future project with a client. As you can see, I'm using Photoshop to complete this piece, and I'm following my standard recipe of drawing techniques, beginning with laying out a rough sketch in red, which will be followed by a tighter blue and will eventually lead to a finished line drawing. This drawing is a little interesting because I'm drawing liquid inside of glass, which is something I struggled to draw as a kid, or even in my early art career. You know, growing up drawing, you typically focus on solid objects to draw, like rocks, trees, cars, and people, so things such as glass kind of take a back seat in the catalog of what a young artist can draw. It's not until you want to start learning more that you kind of begin to take an approach as to how to draw glass, because something that is clear or translucent is a little tricky to make look real, or in my case here, believable, since I'm not drawing in realism. I also love to add leaves to object sketches such as this one. I feel that leaves and background objects really help break the simplicity of an object silhouette and add an additional flow that really isn't there when drawing items. Who knows, let's just be real, maybe I just like drawing leaves. I mean, they're pretty cool to look at, always photosynthesizing and whatnot, you so cute leaves. But I digress. I wanted to get into a little bit about potions and some facts I found about potions. For some reason, I just cannot separate myself from doing interesting facts when it comes to drawing. But yeah, potions are super duper neat, and while perusing the interwebs, I found that the etymology of the word potion comes from the Latin word potio, which means to drink. For those that don't know, by the way, the word etymology means the origin of a word. Basically, the history of how a word came to be. Anyways, it wasn't until around the Middle Ages that potions were associated with witchcraft, because religious persecution was all the rage at the time. You know, they were all like, oh, burn the witches, yada yada, whatever. But before then, potions were associated with healing practices, and healing medicines. In other words, potion making back in the day is what we know today as modern medicinal sciences. Basically, you take some herbs from the earth and other things like extracts and whatnots, and you understand the chemistry behind it and implement it into medicines. The only difference is that way back when, nobody had an understanding of chemistry. Don't get me wrong though, potions weren't always made for healing. Potions were also made as poisons. For example, concoctions made using the deadly nightshade, otherwise known as the belladonna, were used to murder people quietly throughout history. It's just a human thing, I suppose. There's always evil people doing evil things. Another thing I wanted to cover are the quacks of the 19th century. For those that don't know, the word quack is used to refer to anyone who is fake or phony or full of baloney, particularly in the fields of sciences, business, and of course, medicine. See, back in the day, people weren't as connected as we are now, and knowledge was still passed down from word of mouth and just books. Isolated communities in America had very little contact with the outside world apart from the standard of trading of farmed goods and things. Also, it was very easy to be labeled as a doctor back in the day. Dude, I mean, even your barber in the 1800s was considered a doctor. They used to actually drain your blood for, quote, health benefits in an act called bloodletting. But anyways, very astute individuals began doing traveling entertainment shows where they preached and raved about the wonderful medicines that will cure everything from a headache to stinky feet to even cancer. It was very common and highly racist, but back then, they would market their medicines as natural holistic remedies passed down from Native American tribes. Anything with the word Indian sold like wildfire back then. Old-timey settlers believed that Indians knew everything about the land, and they would call their medicines all sorts of random Indian names by just putting together syllables that vaguely sounded like Indian words. The reason they didn't care about the accuracy in naming their product is because old-time quacks didn't care about whether or not those products actually healed anybody. The concoctions they were selling were mostly 40% alcohol mixed with all sorts of narcotics, heroin, and even mercury. So people kept buying these products because nobody had an understanding of what addiction was like back in the day. Heck, I mean, even Coca-Cola had its start in this fashion by actually putting cocaine from coca leaves in their bottled beverages. It wasn't until the 1930s that muckrakers, which are people who are committed to finding the truth, put an end to all this by identifying to the US government and the general public all the dangerous chemicals that were in these, quote, potions. That, and also isolated communities, began to become more connected with the use of automobiles and the invention of telephones and movies. Speaking of movies, I am now going to seamlessly transition into how popular culture has influenced my experience with potions. My first exposure to potions was watching my older cousins play Zelda, and later when I became old enough to play Pokemon, there were also potions in there. I played Pokemon Yellow on my purple Game Boy Color. Purple was my favorite color. I think it was see-through too. That's pretty cool. Anyways, that's where my little dookie boy brain associated potions with healing or wizard magic. Speaking of wizard magic, I gotta let my inner millennial breathe a little bit and shout out a quick RIP to Professor Snape, spoilers, and also Alan Rickman, the dude who played Professor Snape, RIP. Homeboy was one of my favorite potion teachers. Actually, he was the only potion teacher that I knew of. Anyways, I know potions are ubiquitous in video games, and even a Chug Jug from Fortnite is considered a potion.
#1 victory royale.
But this particular potion I'm drawing reminds me of potions from the game Fable. Dude, I really love that game. Getting to pick between good or evil, stealthy strong, or being a wizard, or any combination of it all. There were all sorts of potions in that game, and I think it was like over 15 potions in the franchise total, if I'm not mistaken. Does anyone remember Fable, actually? It came out in 2004 for the Xbox. At least I had it for the Xbox. Also, if you guys have a favorite potion from a video game or any other pop culture reference, dude, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear all the wacky attributes that they have and kooky names that they come up with. Anyways, back to the drawing. The key to drawing a potion bottle, in my opinion, is really with adding the whites. If you noticed a little bit earlier, I changed the background color to beige so that I can actually show some contrast from the background to the whites that are being shown. The most important streak of white is the one on the left side of the bottle, the one that runs from the liquid in the potion all the way up to the neck. This one is crucial because it not only highlights the curvature of the bottle pretty well, but more importantly, it shows you that there is something in front of that liquid, which in turn tells your subconscious brain that something transparent is there, such as glass. Whites are used in other sections of this piece as well, just to accent some shine and to help differentiate the bubbles, but the ones used for the bottle, in my opinion, really bring this piece together. I then use the airbrush and textured brushes to add some effects to the background, and that pretty much wraps the piece up. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and if you want to view this full piece in its entirety, give me a follow on Instagram at BrandonCamiloArt. Also, other social media platforms will be linked in the description as well. And if you haven't done so already, you made it this far with me rambling, so subscribe to the channel, you silly salamanders. Anyways, my time here is up. My name is Brandon Camilo, your favorite internet artist, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.